Hello, good peoples, with me Hasya, and you are listening to my second podcast. As I promised you before that in this section, I'm gonna talk about more important things than before. As you know that my first podcast has a special discussion that is not important to discuss, but it doesn't matter because it's just for fun. So today I'm gonna talk about queer and gender. As you know that almost all of us always talk about gender, but just less of us who knows the difference between gender and sex. So in this podcast, we're gonna discuss about it, and I hope you'll get something after you listen to this podcast. So stay tuned. Queer is whatever is at odds with the normal, legitimate, and dominant. There's nothing in particular to which it necessarily refers. It's an identity without an essence. So, queer theory is a theory that studies about gay, lesbian, transgender, hermaphroditism, and all sexual orientations that compete with society's formal sexual norm. Queer theory combining two elements. The first one is feminist theory. It says that gender is a part of the essential self, and gay and lesbian studies. So, queer theory is a set of ideas based around the idea that identities are not fixed and do not determine who we are. This means that all of the labels we place on people should not define who they are. This also means that the identity of a person chooses from their self has the ability to change over time. In Canada, we are free to express our identities, and gay marriages became legal starting in 2003. Even the Prime Minister supports the Pride events. But not all countries in the world allow their citizens to freely choose their own identities. Although same-sex marriage is legal in select parts of some countries, it's only 100% legal in 21 countries, with the Netherlands being the first to legalize it in 2000, and the US being legaled just 5 years ago in 2015. So, how about Indonesia? If we can take a break for a while, let's just think. From birth, we decide what gender our children will have based on their sex and assign them in a color, like girl with pink, boy with blue. When our children get older, we tell our sons to stop crying and man up, and we tell our daughters to sit up straight and act like a lady. But why do we have a problem with our son expressing their emotions by crying? And why do we have a problem with girls showing their physical strength and power? It all happened because of the labels we impose on children from the beginning. Queer theory looks to change this and normalize the idea of choosing one's own identities. This means that it's okay for boys to have long hair, play with dolls, and cry. It's also okay if girls want to play trucks in the mud and cut their hair short. It's also important to understand that some people's body don't match the sex they feel they should have. So in brief, we can say that gender is social construction, while sex is a biological phenomenon that can't be changed. There are many social movements such as Catalytics, Homophile Movement, and Gay Liberations Movement. It's used lesbian and gays to come out publicly revealing their sexuality to family, friends, colleges as a form of activism. And the central figures of this theory is Miss Judith Butler. Butler is professor of comparative literature and rhetoric at the University of California, also a writer of Gender Trouble. She says that gender is not the result of nature, but is socially constructed. She also says that male and female behavior roles are not the result of biology, but constructed and reinforced by society through media and culture. She also says that gender as a performance and many exaggerated representations of masculinity and femininity which cause gender trouble. And the other central figures of this theory is Eve Sedgwick. Okay, that's all what I can share to you guys about queer and gender. I hope you get something new after you listen to this podcast. And you're gonna be a good people with full of tolerance. The last, don't forget to like and share this video. Also subscribe this channel and click the bell button to get my newest post. Thank you, bye, and have a nice day.